I think we all know by now that Facebook and Twitter are the lowest of the low when it comes to the internet, but I honestly think Facebook's even worse. On Twitter you have 23-year-old edgelords who think it's funny to say the N-word 10,000 times. But on Facebook, you have 20 to 80-year-olds who never stopped using the word in the first place, laugh reacting to horrible tragedies, and posting their batshit insane conspiracy theories. And then you got the Snyder-obsessed nerds who left Twitter for being too toxic for even them. You've probably noticed that I'm actually using a microphone and a different camera now, so if anything looks off or sounds off, it'll get better eventually. I'm still learning, guys. So let's read some of these god-awful comments, shall we? I'm already regretting this decision. We are so back.
She looks bloated like she has had multiple Botox and lip filler procedures. Looking tough is one thing and she ain't looking tough. Besides, I doubt people would be happy if Geralt looked like Eskel in The Witcher 3.
Of course a female character aging looks like she got Botox. Because women are just eye candy, am I right? I can only imagine how these idiots reacted when Bella Ramsey got cast as Ellie. The other option would be I'm non-binary. Once again, these people invent scenarios in their head for them to complain about. Of course they would change a beloved character out completely, what else would they do? It's almost like Geralt retired at the end of Blood and Wine, which is what his book counterpart wanted for so long. After all that toil, I believe he deserves a bit of rest, don't you? I mentioned Snyder fans earlier, so now it's time to see their reaction to what looks like an actually good Superman movie. I've been reading Superman comics since I was 6 years old, so I might get a bit defensive in this part, and I'm not sorry for that. If you're into woke, lefty, liberal, biased, communist movies, then this Superman is for you. Elon's idol would be proud. I was going to ask what drugs he's taking and where I can get some, but then I remembered we're on Facebook, so it's probably meth. And I know exactly where to get that around where I live. 2, 5, 4, 1, now run! Can I just use this to point out that David looks like the secret love child of Henry Cavill and Hayden Christensen? Look at this photo and try and tell me I'm wrong. It won't hold a candle to Man of Steel. Of course it won't touch the worst Superman movie where Jonathan Kent died for no fucking reason. After the Superman trailer, I'm convinced James Gunn understands Superman better than Zack Snyder. You can say what you want, but he's definitely not a better Superman. Hashtag facts. I'm gonna get even more hate for this, but I've gotta say it. I love Henry Cavill, but the only times he really felt like he was Superman to me was when he saved those people on the oil rig, when he sacrificed himself, when he didn't punch this guy through 6 different states, and when I had to sit through 2 hours of that god-awful Justice League movie just so Superman could enter the final battle by saying one of the most Superman lines to ever Superman.
I believe in truth, but I'm also a big fan of justice.
If there's only 4 moments where he actually felt like the character he was supposed to be playing, then something needed fixing. And that something was Zack Snyder. It just sucks that DC did what Sony did to Andrew Garfield to Henry. But if that didn't happen, I'm pretty sure we wouldn't be getting his Warhammer universe, so there's always a positive. The group 3% performed at the Arias a couple months ago, and their comments are exactly what I was expecting from certain Australians. Black and Indigenous voices have used hip-hop for generations. We're not gonna stop now just because you said no. We voted no! Sit down! Shut up! Accept it! You see what I mean? Because that blatantly racist attitude definitely isn't fueling the fire in Indigenous people at all, is it? Keep acting that way, I beg you. You might be able to save your kid from looking up to you as a parent.
I'm so sick of this kind of stuff.
And I'm sick of hearing racists be racist all the time. But you're not gonna stop, so why should we? Such an embarrassment these things are. Australia. The country where you'll be classed as things if you don't shut up and do what they want, just like their favourite Aboriginal, Jacinta one of the good ones Price.
Get a job!
He screams at someone who is doing something as part of their job. And what a surprise, you got people calling Indigenous people existing woke 3 comments in.
What a picture of health you are, Jess.
Oh, and they're calling a pregnant woman fat too. Did I accidentally click on a Daily Mail link or something? Is it taxpayer funded? No, it was sponsored by Centrelink. But Australia is so progressive and definitely left racial stereotypes in the past, am I right? Jesus Christ, man, I can feel my brain cells dissolving as I read more of this shit. No map, no rules, just the entire galaxy. Stream Star Wars Skeleton Crew only on Disney+. Dear Elon, please buy Disney and make entertainment great again. That's all I want for Xmas. Because him buying an entire country went so well, didn't it? I'm so glad I'm not an American right now. Oh, that's right. I'm not watching this unless it's the one that has the non-binary trans stormtrooper in it, because if you can't see it, you can't be it. And it is my dream to be a fictional shock trooper in the fictional Ocratic Galactic Empire. Under the leadership of Emperor Palpatine, we all have dreams. Remember when Star Wars first went woke by having a disabled man with lung cancer be the villain? I'm so sick of these diversity characters, man. You see why I make fun of Star Wars fans all the time now, right? They make it way too easy. And on the topic of internet fandoms, it's time for that inevitable part of the video where I talk about Doctor Who.
I wish you a very poggers K-hole.
Because I can't do a video about Facebook comments and not mention it. People who can't move on when they feel like a show isn't meant for them anymore flood the comment section of anything that mentions it, quicker than anti-woke people flood mine. Thanks for the engagement, guys, you're helping me a lot. Why can't we have a dude sidekick for once? I get that she's probably a bit behind the times, but I don't care. How dare she diss my boy Rory Williams like that? He was more badass than the Doctor himself at times.
Would you like me to repeat the question?
And of course you can't forget my boy Dan.
I'm good at this.
Capaldi, the last of the Doctors. All went wrong afterwards. Now it's about to be cancelled. Oh yes, no question. People claim Doctor Who's going to be cancelled every time the Doctor and the showrunner changes, so no surprise here. The latest Doctor Who episode is an absolute blast from start to finish. Read the full review. I started reading Empire back in 1994. They've totally lost my respect these last couple of years with this kind of review, as they too have fallen victim to the shills. Keep shilling, it's funny and cringe. Funny how they love to use that word so much when they basically shill for Elon and Trump on a daily basis. And they do it for free. Our TARDIS team just got bigger. Welcome aboard new writers for season 2. Hired because of their talent and quality of work, or hired on DEI, race, gender, or identity politics? We all know the answer. It's the BBC and Disney after all.
More BBC box ticking!
Once again, I have to point out the not so subtle prejudice in assuming someone only got a job because of their skin colour or gender identity, and not because they're actually talented. I'm not going to stop pointing it out till you guys stop being so fucking weird about it. And now it's time to scrape the bottom of the barrel and look at the Australian news part of Facebook. Why the fuck am I doing this to myself? Why is my t-shirt more offensive to the Prime Minister than a 50-year assault on democracy? Gonna use this post to say that we 100% support Grace Tame on this channel, and if that pisses you off, then good. I don't want you here.
When Grace was first announced as Australian of the Year years ago, I admired her and her bravery. Sadly, she's become self-absorbed and abrasive and inappropriate.
She is feral! Funny how you hear this type of shit every time a woman has the audacity to share her opinions on things they don't like. Go back to watching Isaac Butterfield and wishing women would give you attention. I do love this woman. A role model. Go Grace. A useless bag of shit! I miss the age of the internet where kids would comment their name on everything. Glad to see it's making a comeback. Trump's days of thunder and why we're in an age of information overload. He's doing a great job, isn't he? Hope Dutton turns out to be as quick taking actions on things. Bring it on! Not a surprise to see comments like this when ABC starts pushing things on behalf of the LNP. This is why we need to pay attention to this shit. I don't want anyone else to end up like this dude. I'm diving into a Sky News comment section now, so it's time to put on my safety mask. Thank God they can't actually see me. Captain Cook statue vandalised in Sydney ahead of I don't care about my country's history, I just want a day off work day. Can't change history, only attitudes. Says the group who likes to paint Captain Cook of all people as a good man. He was such a good man when he went over to Hawaii, wasn't he? These perpetrators need to get a life. What is ever achieved by doing crap like this? Well, I'll tell you one thing it does achieve, and that's pissing off Sky News viewers, which is always a positive. Another thing is, it might be a step towards this country not fucking idolising colonisers. But that's not gonna happen, is it? Australia was a primitive backwards land until the Europeans arrived. It's achieved more real progress in the 250 years than it did in the previous 40,000. The Europeans brought much needed diversity to this continent. I'm sick of hearing that we were primitive or weren't civilized because we didn't build a stupid wheel that we wouldn't need in the first place, and because we didn't build giant fighting arenas, giant triangles, and a giant fucking cat. I was going to delve into more Aboriginal news posts, but reading those comments does nothing other than solidify that the majority of the country actually does fucking hate us, so I'm going to leave it there. Sorry to end it on a sour note, but I had to acknowledge it. Ah shit, I just pissed them off again, didn't I? My next video is going to take a bit longer than usual to edit, so I'll just give you a sneak peek of what it's about.
Divinity of the elements. Earth, water, air, fire. I invoke thee.
As always, remember to like, subscribe, and stay the fuck away from Facebook unless you're in 1,000 meme groups like me, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.
2, 1, 4, 1, narrow.